So I wanted to talk to you today about critiquing your own work, and I'm going to give you 4 easy tricks to help you do that better. So the 4 tips are: take a photo, use a mirror, use red film, and flip it around. Let me show you what I mean. So first of all, what is critiquing? Great question. When you're critiquing art, basically it means that you're looking at something and trying to decide what could be done to improve it or make it better. And that can actually be really, really hard to do when you're looking at your own work. So these tips I find are really helpful for me to be able to step back and look critically at my own work. So as an example today, I've brought a painting that I'm working on. It's only partway done, and it's very important to step back fairly regularly while you're working on something to assess it, because sometimes you get sucked in and you don't realize the issues that are there, and they end up putting a whole bunch of time and effort into it before you even realize it. So for example, with this one, I was working really hard building up the layers of the skin, and then I noticed that the nose was like up here, and I hadn't noticed for some reason, and I had to do it all over again. So make sure you check regularly. So the first one, number 1, is actually the one I use the most and I find the most helpful for me. For some reason, when I take a photo and then look at the photo instead of looking directly at the artwork, I can see it better. So what I do is I just take my camera or my phone and I'll take a picture. Just make sure that you're getting straight on, because if you're kind of like tilted, then it will warp the image itself. So try to make sure you're getting it straight on. Take a photo with your phone and then look at the photo, and I think you might be surprised what you see. So number 2 is to actually take a mirror and look at the mirror instead of directly at your work of art. And that actually gives you a different perspective and actually makes it look much further away. So what you do is put your back to your artwork, hold your mirror up in front of you, and then look at the reflection of your artwork in the mirror, and it might give you a different point of view, a different view of your work, and you'll see things that you didn't see before. Tip number 3 is to use red film. I wish I had some. I don't right now, but I'll tell you about it anyways. You can try it and let me know how it works for you. I learned this at a painting workshop recently. And basically it's just like red plastic, or if you have kind of red tinted glass, you place it on top of your work or hold it, like look through it at your work. And what it does is it just kind of mutes out all of the colors and makes it almost like a black and white image, so you can see the tonality of your work, or how light and how dark different areas are. And you might notice then that some spaces don't look right. Like maybe you're supposed to have a round ball, but when you look at it through this kind of black and white kind of filter, you might notice that, wait a second, it looks flat and it should actually be lighter in this spot where the light hits, so it will come forwards, and it's just a different way to look at your work. Number 4 is very helpful, and it's actually something that I learned while I was in art school too, and it's the idea that as you're going, actually physically turn your artwork around while you're working at it. And if you have a reference photo, you can turn that around as well. But sometimes seeing it at different angles, where it's almost like it can, instead of being so focused on it being a face, suddenly it makes it more possible for you to see it as shapes, or from a different point of view, look through it with different perspective, I guess, different eyes. So flip it around, try different angles, and so you're not focused so much on what it's supposed to look like and what it actually looks like. You can focus on that. So there may be a number 4.5. Because I realized that I forgot something really important. Number 4.5, how do you do a half with your fingers? Number 4.5 is to step back from your work. And this, even if you're coloring or you're scrapbooking, whatever it is that you're doing, this applies to everything. Take a minute, step back, physically back away from what you're doing, and look at it, especially if you're working really close up to it. So quick recap: when you're trying to look at your artwork, take a step back fairly often and try the tricks: photo, mirror, the red film, and flip it around. Oh, and back up. 4.5. I hope you find that helpful. We'll talk a little bit more about specific things to look at in some other videos. If there's anything else you want to learn, let me know. Please remember to subscribe and like my video so that I know you like them and I'll make more for you. Thanks. I'm Salamon, and I'm Art with Crystal, and remember, it's okay to color outside the lines.